Ladies and gentlemen, we have heard of the Buy, Own, Operate, Transfer Investment, or BOT. In these sessions, from vision to reality, BOT ventures in Cyprus. Our esteemed experts will take you on a deep dive into the future of BOT, the strategies and steps to elevate the BOT investment, and how the BOT help economic growth. Please welcome our moderator, Stavros Caramondanis, CEO of Ayia, Napa, Marina. Stavros and my dear panelists, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much for the introduction. Welcome. We will speak about BOTs, build, own, operate, and transfer. It's a form of a concession, a contract between the public and the private sector, which it means to an end in respect of providing usually governments to fast-track huge projects, which can be marinas, can be casinos, can be ports, can be roads, can be desalination plants, etc. There are various terminologies, like some people know them as PPPs, public-private partnerships, but in reality are all the same. And thank you for coming here today. I would like first to introduce my panel, which are from the government, the procurement, public procurement, Mr. Philippos Katranis, welcome. We have Marios Tanousis, he's the CEO of Cyprus Invest, and not to make Petros, yes, he's the head of the regulatory compliance for the MELCO, all of which have great experience in such projects. I would give the floor, first of all, to Philippos, which it's representing, if you like, the public sector, if I may say so, to give us his opinion and views on the build, own, operate, and transfer projects. And then we will share during this conversation, we will touch points that are based on the experience we have had in Cyprus since 1996, where the first BOT was introduced on the island, which I had the honor to be the successful company at the time, which was the first desalination plant. And then that opened the road to many more, as we can witness today. However, there are a lot of pros and cons on such projects, on such concessions, because they need a lot of planning, a lot of know-how, a lot of experience. But the most important, Felipe, is that it takes two to tango. It's not only the private sector, but it's also the public sector. Please, let's have your views.
Yes. Hello, everybody. Thank you for being here today. It's a great pleasure to join these gentlemen on the panel, and thank you for the invitation. First of all, we need to set the scene so that everybody understands the way government implements projects of this nature. We are talking about large, complex projects, which are very, very difficult. They are complicated. They have a long duration of time, and many complexities can present at any point during the implementation or during the award stage or during the preparation for such a project. So the government can do these projects in generally three ways. The first way is to procure for the project, specify the project, describe what they want, make a procurement, find the winning bidder, pay for the project, and own the project on its completion. So this is an example for we can say about a road between two cities, or the Polis-Paphos road we are having today, which is a big project that was tendered this way. The other way the government can do this is to license. So we can issue a license, like we did with the casino resort. We have a competition. The winner is responsible to make it happen, invest, work on their own, and at the end, operate the infrastructure. The other way we have as a government to do things is the public-private partnerships. As Stavros has said, there are many forms of public-private partnerships that are determined during the preparation stage. And one of these forms is the build-operate transfer, which basically is, if we can all use an example to understand the situation, is the Larnaca and the Paphos airports, for example, which are built, operated for the company or the consortium that has built the infrastructures, and they will be transferred back to the government in a set period of time. So these three categories are the ways the government has to implement large-scale projects. So when the government takes the decision, it's a lot of factors that are considered in order to choose which of the three ways they will implement. And this is the key to a successful project, to have a good reading of the market and the situation, to select the best way to go ahead.
And as I understand, Philippe, for budgetary purposes, that helps the governmental budget in order not to be burdened by the initial investment, right?
Yeah. It is, indeed, it is a major, let's say, consideration to help offload some budgetary burden at the initial stages from an investment. So if we take, let's say, an investment of 100 million, if we give it to the private sector, that's not on the budget as a liability or depriving from monies from other social policies or other sectors that the money could be invested. But it's not the only reason. This is not, I don't want to give the message that, okay, if the government does not want to spend money, they select the BOT. No, first of all, you need to identify and evaluate correctly the opportunity, because if the business case is not sound and not businessly logical, you will not find an investor. Or if you find an investor, you will find the problems down the road.
That's perfect timing to pass the ball to Marios, Danousis, CEO of Cyprus Invest, in order to position himself from his experience in attracting investors to participate in BOTs, because obviously foreign investment is very helpful. It's one of the main reasons that drives the economy of Cyprus. And your role, Marie, as CEO of Cyprus Invest, I'm sure you are out there fishing to bring such investors in Cyprus.
Thank you for the question and thank you for the invitation. Surely it's in with our mandate to attract investment as the National Investment Promotion Authority of Cyprus. And definitely the PPP projects, or the so-called large foreign direct investment or strategic projects, are of extreme importance to us as Invest Cyprus, and of course to the government, as very well highlighted by Philippos before. I will be very frank, as a small country that we are, we don't have so many strategic large projects, but we can have quite a number of small-scale, if I may say, PPP projects, if we have the right preparation, the identification and the preparation for such projects. Usually, the government, when they have large-scale or infrastructure projects, they will go out and through the right procedures and tender or otherwise announce it, and then bidders, interested companies will make their bid. We had very successful projects such as the international airports of Larnaca and Paphos. We had also the Limassol port and a few others. What we are faced now as challenging for Cyprus, specifically when it comes to investors and sovereign wealth funds or investment funds. Usually these groups, they look into an investment of a certain ticket size. And usually it's above 100 million euros. They wouldn't see any investment usually below 100 million euros. And it's a challenge for Cyprus, it's a challenge for everybody, for the government, for us to try to identify potential projects. That is why last year we became members as Invest Cyprus to the World Association of Private-Public Partnerships, and we suggested to the government to set up a strategic committee for the identification and preparation of small-scale PPPs across the cities of Cyprus and municipalities, and also at national level. We are at this time preparing for a training also to the public sector, but also together with the private sector on this preparation and identification of projects in order to help the pipeline, because when investor comes, they like to see what are your options, what do you offer, in case they don't have anything in mind, in case they are not going to set up a tech company, in case they are not going to set up a shipping company, they need to see opportunities. And we have a database at Invest Cyprus with a selected few number of fully licensed projects, because these projects need to be fully licensed in order to be showcased to investors. But we need, I would say, more in the capacity of BOT or PPP. So definitely it's a matter that we are looking into as Invest Cyprus in collaboration with the government, the responsible ministries, in order to try to help with investment and job creation through BOT. And if I say, I can say that the Marina of Ayia was the first project that as Invest Cyprus we identified as an ideal project to be promoted to investors. And I remember it was 2014 that we started showcasing and putting it on our slides and promoting it internationally. So this shows that from the early beginning, we were in favor of showcasing such projects, and were in favor of identifying more, preparing, but also helping existing projects that are somewhere not moving in the right way.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Marie. And since projects of this caliber not only require the initial investment, but also a contract signing, we have to opt that they will have a continuation. And having the representative here of Melco Resorts, Petro Iasi, who's the Vice President of Legal Affairs and Compliance, could give us his side of story of what are the experiences that you have had during the course so far of this concession under the BOTs. And then we will go around again to say how can we get things and do them much better and more efficient on both sides, Because, as I said before, it takes two to tango.
Thank you, Mr. Caramondanis. Thanks for the invitation. Thanks for everybody being here. I'll talk in general, in practical terms, from practical experience from BOT projects, including the casino project. Casino project is not purely, strictly speaking, a BOT. We are missing the T. We will just build, we build actually, and we operate. We're not going to transfer anything back, as in the case of the airports.
But you have a protected time of
other yeah.
Similar project entering this specific market that makes sense for you to make the return on your investment, right? In that sense.
Exactly. That's the same notion and concept as any other BOT project. We have the 30 years time span to cash out to the return on our investment. This return, of course, to investment means a lot to the investor and to the state as well. It means increase job opportunities, attraction of talent, both local and international, to Cyprus, and the development of a new market and a new revenue generation to the country's revenue. Now, to achieve that, an investor wants fair terms. So fair terms is rule number one. Second is clear terms, starting from the tendering process to the contract signing to lead to the license award. And of course, transparency over other factors surrounding this project. In terms of doing things better in the future, and again, as a general experience from various projects that I was involved, not only the casino, it happens that you get a project in Cyprus, and then the award is not enough for you to start. You need 100 other permits and licenses surrounding that award. So the award is just only the beginning in most of the cases. Then you need all this building and planning permits from various authorities, and then we go to the environmentals and other operational permits, including various governmental departments and authorities. And most importantly, of course, it's the regulatory license that we need to operate as a casino, or the airport needs to operate as an airport. One suggestion is to have a simplified process. What a previous government at the time dreamed about: one stop shop. So that's the idea. Just get an award, and part of that assessment, part of that award, include everything you need to operate, make things simple. Secondly, on the fair financial and commercial terms, things to be balanced and fair to both the investor and the government. Arbitrary terms, and I'm not suggesting this is the case, but as examples I've seen in various occasions, arbitrary terms like, the government has the right to terminate any time, you cannot sell your asset unless the government approves unconditionally. Those unconditional, heavy, arbitrary terms are not attractive for investment. Of course, when the investor is called to put in money, there is no restriction in any award or a contract. So everything should be finely balanced. And thirdly, I'm just borrowing from one of the points, Maria, you made in the pre-discussion about the overall reputation of the island as an investment hub needs to be enhanced. And of course, always collusion, corruption, acting in conflict are by the authorities are examples to be avoided, and of course making this attractive, increase the cost of the investment without a reason, leave alone that companies like, for example, Melco and ICR, Cyprus will never be interested if tools like that are elaborated, because it's not in their culture to do that. At the same time, of course, any investor I've seen is here to respect the rules and regulations, and like in the casino, we work in harmony and very closely with the regulatory authority of the casino at the level of our top guy here in Cyprus, our property president. And the shareholders themselves come and have close contact with them. So the relationship is enhanced, leading to a better product. The regulatory framework also needs to be clear to an investor, very clear before they come. Another observation, I'm just mixing the second part so you don't give me the floor on the second part. If I may, another opportunity, another suggestion is let's talk at EU level as well.
You have 40 seconds.
Thank you. So there are things we can achieve at EU level in terms of fair derogations, not just accept anything they give us on the plate and bring it back to Cyprus and to the investor to digest it. So that's all from me at this stage.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. At this stage, you, of course, will go another round, but it's important in order to give the confidence to the investors to come and invest in Cyprus, because government changes, but investors don't. Therefore, Philippe, we have some main challenges to face. Before we go to the next round of the conclusion of how to make things better, it's very important that the state, that's always there, provides this confidence. From what we heard from the gentleman, there needs to be a clear, defined direction. How can we safeguard this from your perspective, representing the public sector?
Okay. I heard very, very important points, both from Marios and Petros, regarding what needs to be developed in order to attract investors. I couldn't agree more that a transparent, fair, and solid environment will attract fair and solid investors, because the key to attract the correct type of investors is to develop the correct type of environment. Investors respond to the environment they are used to doing business with. So if you have a mixed environment and things go happening here and there and nothing is stable, you will get this kind of investors. If you have a solid environment with clear terms and clear opportunity and clear responsibilities and obligations, you will get solid investors that respect the rules and the environment. So the problem is that, as Mario said before, Cyprus is a small country, a small economy, and we are not used to this kind of projects to develop capacity, to develop expertise, to develop the right mechanisms in order to be able to handle this kind of projects and this kind of opportunities. Every time we do it here, practically, we do it for first time and last time. We are doing an airport, it's the first and last one. We are doing, let's say, I think all the big projects happen once because of the size of the market. So this does not allow the building of experience and the building of capacity to handle this kind of projects. So in conclusion, I would say that I agree that this is an important factor. The government, the change in government does not affect the change in legal environment, because laws are there and they are applicable no matter how the government changes. And this is a critical element that is considered every time in the contracts when you are procuring for a long-time opportunity. So the change of law is a let's say, a parameter that will be managed in the contract.
But we can improve the law.
Yes.
We can make adjustments to the law.
That's true.
Without...
True, but what I'm saying is that the important thing is that the investor, at the time they are assessing the opportunity, they feel the certainty that this is the rules of the game, they are not changing, no matter who is the next one in the government or two governments later on, because projects come from 50 years, for 30 years.
Exactly.
So it's important to give this certainty to the investors.
So I take it, I wrote here that we need to work on our culture, meaning culture of understanding and digesting BOT contracts.
And if I may add on this culture that you have very correctly spotted, is that the government, as I said before, we are used to procuring projects, to buy the projects and describe everything that will happen and pay for it as public procurement projects. This is our, from 1960 to date, this is our culture, this is our way of doing business as government. So new models and new ways of doing business need expertise, need repetition so that people can develop the right culture.
Okay, thank you, Felipe. Marie, the challenges, and eventually this will lead us to how to improve the BOT projects and obviously the culture, because this needs to be embedded not only on the private side, but in the civil servant side, with technocrats, with trainings, etc.
Exactly, thank you. I would agree fully with Philippos. There needs to be further training, further practical training on both at the public sector as well as the private sector. It has to do also with culture, and it's the same in all small countries. It's not just in Cyprus that we are facing these challenges. And yes, the government, when it changes, does not affect the regulations or the laws, surely. Perhaps what we can do a bit more and better is to educate also the long-term views and the policymakers that are involved in taking strategic decisions for our country over the years to come, engage the ministers, the deputy ministers, bring experts from overseas with success cases and stories to talk to us. There is a learning curve that we need to go through in order to be able to identify and prepare further projects that will be with the BOT or PPP for the Republic of Cyprus. And I am sure, and we have talked to experts, also at the municipal, at the mayor's part, now with the additional powers that they have, they will also be important to engage in the process and embrace this for the regions, for the municipalities. We are confident and sure that once we do those steps, there will be several attractive projects available together with the government and the local governments that we can promote to investors. So I would say that it concerns all the stakeholders that need to come forward and discuss strategically where we want to go in the next, let's say, 20 years, because these projects, they can vary from 10, 15 to 30, 35, even more years. So we are talking at important concerns, what these projects will be producing for the next 10, 20, 15, 30 years, and even more. So it's a very serious discussion that needs to be done. Experts need to be pulled in from overseas with expertise, proven and tested expertise, to help us, help our country and economy in attracting FDI to BOT, BOT or PPP projects.
Thank you, Mari. Petro, One-stop shop, you said before. What Marius just said, maybe a solution would be in order to put everything under one umbrella, as we have many stakeholders that need to be, they are involved, especially from the government side. Would you consider that a new way forward could be a Ministry of Investments under the auspices, let's say, of the President, that this ministry will have the responsibility of the one-stop shop that you mentioned before, so the investor can address the issues to one minister with the specialists, the technocrats already educated, well-trained, that the investors could have only one point of reference? Could this be a solution? I start from you, and then we'll go again to Philippos and eventually Marius. What do we do next?
I think that's the idea, Stavros. And through our cooperation with various government authorities, we met distinguished people working at the government. So personally, purely personally, I feel we have already many ministries. So not another ministry, but perhaps to the in line with what you are describing, something under an existing ministry or a new authority with few effective people that have the mandate to do things. And that would be a solution. I'll just mention one example which was done based on the law for the casino project, which was a very first step to the right direction. For the construction phase, we had, different to the regulator of the casino that we always had, but for the construction phase, we had a steering committee appointed by the government to monitor the progress. And part of their mandate was strongly to help us with issues by various involved authorities. And that steering committee, not only they had the general mandate and the chairman to represent them, but they mandated two persons as project managers. One was Philippos, the other one is sitting there, Mr. Campanelas. So these two people were the project managers representing the government by authority and mandate, and they could pick up the phone and help us with issues. Of course, when I say issues, on the right basis, to progress the project, nothing to do with any favorable treatment. It's things that we needed for the project and they got stuck, or you faced unreasonable people. So just an institutionalized approach as a first step, which helped empirically to that direction.
I wrote down the word trust. We need to mature ourselves in order to build this trust, because usually we, from the private sector, we feel that the other side is checking on us, is always looking for our not weaknesses, but mistakes and to be compliant. So we need to work in an environment that there is trust. And the example that you gave is very good. This trust, Felipe, obviously needs to be passed also in the public side of things. How do you see this? How are we going to mature ourselves to this?
Okay. the key here is what you have spotted from the beginning. It takes two to tango. As you have said, on your side, you feel that on the government side, there is lack of trust. They are trying to get our mistakes. They're trying to penalize us for this, for that. Every time we have an issue, they will be there to judge. On the other side, as I have said before, the culture on the government part is that, okay, I am doing my tendering, I'm doing my everything there, and the investor that will come, they will try to find loopholes to avoid their responsibilities, to avoid their obligations, to avoid. It's a matter of culture, as you have said before, and the development of the expertise and the ease of working with this kind of projects and this kind of investors. Very, very well and very correctly, Marios has spotted the training issue. But I don't want to go into the joke of the difference between theory and practice. So you need to have practical experience and work in reality with investors in order to gain this ease and comfort of working with trust and working genuinely for the win-win of the result. And this is the work that needs to be done on the culture from the government side. And this is this suggestion and this conclusion that maybe collectively somewhere a team of people that will be able to handle these kind of projects, and you are an investor, you want to make a project, okay, Mr. X is your manager, you will use this facility, whatever you want to do with the government, you go through this guy. So this is important, not because they will do things differently or they will do it legally or they will find windows or holes or doors or whatever. The important thing is to know the story of the investment. If I ask Petros, I'm sure that he will tell you we are tired of explaining every time to everybody in every ministry and everything how the casino was licensed and what they started and how it is continued and what's the problem now and what's the issue. So just by having someone know the story and be able to understand the real problem and find the real source of solution to that problem, it's a huge help to people that will come. And don't forget that there are people, most of the times, they don't know their whereabouts. They don't know how the government works, operationally, or the bureaucracy that there is there. So if you have somebody to help you and guide you through these things, it can reduce certainly the frustration, which in turn increases trust, increases cooperation, makes a better environment and less toxic, let's say, the cooperation between the people.
Exactly. Thank you. So, Marie, robust policy, a good regulatory framework, trust, know-how. I think now Cyprus has experienced a lot of BOTs so far. Your views and concluding,
yes,
also as a
thank you.
Final statement.
I would agree with both Petros and Philippos. We would definitely need a more coordinated effort and structuring in terms of looking at BOTs and strategic projects. Investors coming to our country, and from our experience at Invest Cyprus, and yesterday were the International Investment Awards, where 7 companies were awarded under the aegis of the President of the Republic, Mr. Christodoulidis. And every year we award foreign investment. These companies do not come here to take advantage of Cyprus. These companies and the people do not come here to cheat us. They come here to help us. They come here to create economic development for our country. They come here to create new jobs for the Cypriots. They are here to transfer know-how from expertise they have and we do not have, and many, many more. So definitely we should embrace the foreign direct investment into BOT projects And taking advantage of what Philippos said, at the government side, and this is at least what we are trying because we belong to the government, we have a pro-business mentality. If there is a problem or a handicap, we try to help the investment, not to block it, not to find the mistake and say, you cannot proceed, I'm sorry. So we need to embrace and we need to help investment because it's important for our sustainability. It's important to continue being an international business and investment center. And it has been proven that despite the geostrategic problems that exist all around us, Cyprus can and possibly thrive even more on the matter of foreign direct investment, especially on BOT. And I would like to highlight also that once we do that, it's not only the foreign investors that will be helped, but also it's our local investors, which in most of the BOT projects are in partnerships with existing Cypriot businessmen. Thank you.
Thank you, Marie. We have run out of time, unfortunately. I would like to thank you all, Marie, Petro, Filipe, for your time, spending here with us, sharing your experiences. I hope we gave some messages to our audience and a realistic picture of the BOT situation in Cyprus. And we thank you for being patient enough to listen to us. Thank you so much.